All right, guys, welcome to the new show. Adam and Scott. Jack is gone,
That's all we could afford this week.
right? So, I mean,
Budget's getting tight.
so here we are. I don't think we got any news because Jack's no longer here.
Real quiet on the news side over here. Well, it's off season. That's why.
It is.
No news in off season.
What's up, Victor? How you doing, man? So slow week in the news. I don't think there's a whole lot of news this week that I can recall. Meet my pizza.
Ryan Ellis signed with Young's Motorsports
Mm-hmm.
and Xfinity. That's about it.
I was in Vegas for a couple of days. What's up, Eddie Clark?
Oh, SEMA, how was that?
It was cool. Hung out with Butterbean for a little while.
Yeah, man. Did some burnouts.
And we did. I did a live video of that.
In the Ram truck.
In the Ram truck.
Yep.
He was there by himself. We were going to go to dinner, but he moved his flight up because with all the delays and stuff that are going on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll hang out later. I would have hung out with him the night before, but I thought he was busy with a bunch of other people. He's like, no, I was just bored. So,
Just hanging out.
what's up, Eddie? Jack's gone, so it's no longer Jack, but
Yeah, we didn't get to your house this week, Eddie. Sorry.
no, but it's on the works. We got to set that up, Eddie. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Although it might be getting too cold right now. Though.
Yeah, it's a little chilly.
You got a sunroom there, Eddie?
Need a couple of heaters.
But
We'll try it in the spring.
right. But being we got that news, we might as well hit up Mr. Brandon Pearl. Let's see.
Brandon up here right at 7 o'clock, man. He's ready.
I know he's a professional.
Yeah, man.
Not like me.
Hey, Jack, this is Robbie Parker, your favorite driver. And everybody out there, you're watching the Jack Dodson Show with the Scott Allen and Adam Wilbrock.
That's my man right there. We could sit here the whole hour, Scott, and talk about how great Robbie Parker is.
We should have got Robbie to come on. Robbie, come on over if you're.
Robbie would have been
Oh, he's
great
out of
guest
town.
this week, man. Might still be out of town.
Brandon, where'd you go?
There you
Man?
go. Sorry about that.
He's there
What happened to your camera?
I don't know. I really don't know what just happened. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Oh, there you go.
There he
Oh, you got that slow internet?
Just a little bit. It might be my computer.
Yeah. So what's up, man? How's things going for you?
Not too bad. I missed the racing season already. That was a blast of a season. I'm just working for HOCEVAR as much as I can, trying to help him out with social stuff, trying to help him out with sponsor stuff a little bit here and there, collaborations. Not too bad though. It's been pretty good recently. How are y'all?
So for everybody that doesn't know, or what was it like for you when he kind of posted that thing that you kind of helped him with some of the social media stuff? That had to been. Did you know that was happening, and how was that for you?
So he told me he didn't tell anybody that I was the one helping him with a lot of his Instagram and TikTok and Facebook stuff, like his stream recaps or a bunch of just a bunch of social stuff, social media stuff. He said, "Hey, I went on Dale Jr. download this morning. You should watch it." So that kind of caught me off guard. Like, wait a second. And then Dale was the one who asked, "So who's cutting all your stuff up? Who's making all this stuff for you? Who's helping you grow your audience?" And that was within like the first 10 minutes. I was like, "Oh, okay." So that kind of caught me off guard, you know?
And Brandon, you got to spend some time with Carson recently.
Yep. I went down to Charlotte with him for about 2 weeks or so. We have a video supposedly coming out pretty soon about where we went. Just need some extra stuff. We're going somewhere else this weekend. Actually, we're going down to Florida to go to Les Mullets with Cletus McFarland.
Oh, that's right. He posted that. Yeah.
Yep. So we're going down there, have some fun, go watch him burn a car down.
Sure.
Go wreck some more cars because we know he loves doing that.
Well, you can do it down there.
Hey, exactly. It's not his car.
So how did this come about? How did you and HOCEVAR start your I mean, you're not dating or anything, but
No, I know what you're saying. iRacing.
yeah. How did you guys meet up and how did that go?
iRacing. I've been playing iRacing for 10 years at this point. I met him probably 6-7 years ago. Just another kid on iRacing who was just another kid at that time. I mean, he was driving late models 8 years ago up in Michigan and Berlin and all that. And I had a mutual friend who I was doing some other social stuff for, that he saw what I was Carson saw what I was doing for him, and he grew like 10,000 followers, and his engagement and reach boosted like crazy within the 6-7 months I was doing stuff for him. And then out of the blue, I get a text from Carson, "Hey, you want to start doing some stuff for me?" And that was the day before the Daytona 500 of this year.
Oh, so this just started this year?
Yeah. It just started in February.
Number, and when he texted you, did you know who it was?
No. At first, I thought it was a random text message, and then it said, "Hey, it's Carson. I'm doing a Daytona 500 stream," because this year it got delayed. Like, what was it, 3-4 hours? I can't remember because of the rain.
I remember.
And they had like 8,000 people online just watching them race. I saw that they had him on the Fox broadcast. They said, let's showcase what he can do, because there was nothing else to talk about at that point. And once he said, let's do it, and I said, all right, let's grow. If you want to try and make your fan base grow and make it into the younger generation, because that's what the streaming world and like the Cletus world, that's the younger generation now. That's what we need in the NASCAR world, in my opinion, because that's what's growing with the sport. And so far, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say that, once I had a friend that worked for, not Field and Stream, but whoever owns them, Dick's, and they're like, if they can get them as a client as a kid, then they have a client for their whole life.
Yep. And me and him became really close friends. We talk almost every day, just talking about skits or YouTube stuff, talking about really whatever, just to have fun, just to mess around. We're basically the same person. I'm just 4 years older than him. No, sorry, 2 years older.
Can you dish on the next Facebook marketplace purchase?
He was considering buying a lifted bus.
Oh, I would not have won that.
Like a school bus, but lifted. I don't know what he planned on doing with it, but that was just, I don't know if he's going to buy it. I don't know if that was just something that he was just messing around with, but I thought that was just hilarious. It was a lifted school bus with low rider wheels, really stretched tires. It was stupid, but that's him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he does have a neat personality that I think a lot of people engage with, right?
Absolutely.
He's different. And look, you can't be the same as everybody else, because there's just no different, right? I mean, we're all different for a reason, because if we were all the same in general in life, it would be a boring world, right?
Yeah.
I think it's, the way he goes about himself and not hanging out with other people. And, I don't know how many times I've seen him sitting in the stands to watch the Xfinity race or the truck race, with the fans. And I just think he has that relatable personality.
Absolutely. He's a race fan at heart. He's been a race fan ever since he can remember. I mean, in the new documentary that's coming out, you'll be able to see that he's been a race fan ever since he was 2. Like he's always been wanting to get behind the wheel of something, no matter if it was a go-kart, a trike, a race car, it doesn't matter. He's a race fan at heart. He idolizes Dale. He drives like Dale Sr. There's
definitely some similarities, right? I mean, even Dale Jr. had made that comment, a month or so ago,
Yeah.
And I get where some people get aggravated with him, but we're in the entertainment business also. I mean, you don't want to back off either. So, I mean, I think there's, mean, look at the one car. You know, I mean, he had sort of that brash sort of personality, and you know, people didn't like it. He was running well. I don't know if he's just backed off or their stuff is just not quite there right now. But I don't think you can back off, man. I think you just got to go and be that guy.
Carson said it on stream one time, on his Twitch stream. He said that once you want to be your personality, like you, when you're making your way up, but once a lot of the drivers get to the top level, they just calm down because they're where they want to be at, so they don't need to be that certain personality anymore. And he thinks that there's no point in that. I'm just going to be me. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm just going to be stupid.
Yeah. And I like it. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. I think
It might have cost him a few dollars, but he's doing all right.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing okay. He's not. I don't think he's making the money some of the other guys do. I mean, it's not. I mean, that team is still sort of growing, and you know, he's not contending for championships yet. And I
Exactly.
certainly they will get there. They definitely seem they're putting a lot of money in stuff, right? I mean, they certainly are. I know they're not a top tier GM backed, but I mean, those guys have been fast considering the resources. I don't know who they if they get technical alliance with anybody. Well, Hendrick, I guess, right?
Yeah. Hendrick makes their engines. I think that's one of their only alliances, honestly.
Oh, really? I'm surprised they're not getting any other. But even then, you're not going to get. I mean, people think even you go pay for an alliance, and I understand those alliances are extremely, extremely expensive. That you getting everything else. Well, I'll just tell you, and I know firsthand knowledge of. Well, maybe originally like the 77 when they were, or the 78 when they were at an alliance with JGR, when they won a championship. After that, a good friend of mine, I don't say good friend, but a good friend of mine, Jack's Bob Levine, that owned the 95 Cup team, and he paid the money that the 78 didn't want to pay anymore.
Yeah,
he wouldn't tell me what that figure was, but it was an astronomical number.
that's also a part of racing now, though. I mean,
it is. It's how fast you want to go, it's how much you want to spend, right? But they did not get the top tier information in parts and pieces because they don't know if they can trust you, right?
Yeah.
So they're not sharing all the little tricks or you know, the little intricate pieces. You know, they're second or third tier. That's why they're, you know, but still, instead of being a 35th car or a 30th place car, they want to be a, you know, 22nd to, you know, 18th place car. And then sometimes they were, you know, run top 10. They led almost won Bristol. I think Denny beat what's his name to
Matty D.
Yeah, Matty D.
Yep.
A little bit for it. But I mean, even he was telling me, you know, we're not getting top tier stuff. We're getting their last year's model stuff, which is still better than what they had.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I would say that, you know,
They come a long way in the last couple of years, though.
Yeah,
They really have. They really have.
Well, I mean, they have.
They can't do nothing.
Well, they got deep resources, right? And they have been. Oh, Jack, you're no longer here. This is a new show, Jack.
Only 2 seats now.
Yeah, you're out, Jack. But he, you know, I thought they would Childress going over there. I thought it was going to be a big thing, but I guess I'm not sure what happened over there. It just didn't work or didn't fit or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But they are bringing in. I mean, my understanding. I mean, I'm sure you're kind of plugged into the garage a bit. Where me and Jack and Adam have been fortunate enough to be sort of plugged in there, so we hear a lot of things that, you know, they're hiring good people, taking them from other places that are very knowledgeable. So they're going to get there, and especially, I mean, who's going in the other car next year? I forgot. Suarez, all right. I mean, he's already a proven winner. He knows what it takes. He knows what the car needs to feel like.
They got all the pieces, man.
They got to put them together. That's all. I think they're gonna have speed next year. It's just a matter of, can they not piss anybody off?
I don't know if you care about really pissing somebody off or not. You know, I mean, I think
somebody that came from trucks, right to Cup, he's done well.
Oh no, 100%. I mean, I think that's why I can't think of his name. He just signed that truck deal that, while he's out, right? Because HOCEVAR is not making him look too well.
Justin Haley.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and Justin won their first race with them, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it was, he still, there's no asterisk beside his name. It was a rain shortened Daytona race, I think it was, or Talladega.
I think it was.
So, but I mean, you look at Carson's running 5th, and then he's down here at 20th or 25th. I mean,
that'll do it.
It kind of goes back to the same thing that, when we were in Martinsville, we were talking to Eddie Pardue, Butterbean's crew chief, and Eddie's from here, from Langley's from Hampton, and worked on some late model stuff here. So I've known Eddie since I was like 16, 18 years old. And I mean, he flat out asked me, and I thought it was a trick question. He's like, "Why is their cars faster?" And I'm like, "Because you're working on them." I thought it was just some trick question. And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm not doing anything different. The cars are set up no different than they were at the beginning of the year. So what's changed?" I'm like, "Well, you got another driver." He says, "Exactly."
Changed the driver mid-year.
And so, I mean, you could use that same concept with those guys, right? And Carson, I think, has a pretty good ability of car control, because I think he's carrying the team in my view.
He's a flat out wheelman. I mean, the one save that he had at Berlin in the super late model, or I think it was a super late, like 3-4 months ago, when Bubba Pollard spun him into 3, and he put his foot to the floor, and he went to the wall trying to save it, and he saved it. I mean, one-handed out the window, flipping him off. He was.
Well, and that's another part I love. I love his fieriness, right? I mean, I don't know if there's one person you probably don't want to get in a fight with. It's probably Bubba Pollard. He's a big old, have you seen him? Like he's a big old country bumpkin.
Yeah.
Who did Carson flip off coming to the line and when he won his truck race? Like Kansas or Vegas or something.
It was at Kansas. I'm trying to think of who it was.
Riggs or
it was Chandler. It was Riggs.
Chandler or Riggs, one of the two. That was funny too. He got a bump from somebody.
I can't remember. They were battling for the lead coming at it too. Someone put him in the wall.
He let him know.
But I think that's what people love, though, right? They want to see somebody who's passionate about it. I forget, I seen somebody post something, and it was like, I don't remember who said it now. That was like, NASCAR used to go from if such and such hits whoever, they find them $75,000. So they need to change it where they pay them $75,000. Who cares about this? I say sponsors, but I mean, we're certainly in a sponsor-driven sport. But you have to have personality. I'm a firm believer in that. You have to have personality, because you got to separate yourself from the other person. If we're all the same, we're boring.
Absolutely.
And it was funny. I was having a conversation with Brendan, and he was telling me they did an event, and I don't remember what it was, with Dodge, and him and some of the other drivers, that he's like, I thought we were going to get in trouble. I was like, we're going to get a talking to, because he's like, they had, the tire, such and such tire over there. And they're like, "Hey, get out of the tire tent. You want to be over here with the Dodge guys." Butterbean having his personality, right? That's kind of him. And he's like, "Man, we got done." He's like, "Man, we're going to get a talking to." And he said, as soon as they got off the mic, they were like, "Man, we loved it. Don't change nothing. We want you to be you." Right?
Yeah.
I love that. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's what the sport needs, is just personality. We need drivers to come out of their shells and just be themselves, really.
Yeah, rattle somebody's cage.
Exactly.
Don't got one of the loudest driver intros.
Yeah.
Brendan did.
Yeah, he's like, "Did you hear driver intro at Martin?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How cool was that?"
Recognize it,
So what do you do during the day? Like, what's your regular job?
Right now I don't have a regular job. I'm working for him all the time. I've been doing a bunch of YouTube videos for him, just a lot of editing stuff, but that comes second nature to me at this point. I started probably 2 years ago on editing stuff, and I picked it up really quickly, and I started with the reels, like the Instagram reels, TikTok videos, and then transitioned to like iRacing edits, like where you can move the camera around and do all that stuff. And then now I'm here, basically.
So then, are you just working for him? Or are you trying to do this for a few other people? Or are you just happy doing what you're doing?
I had a few other drivers reach out to me when Carson had shouted me out on DJD. That those never really
That'd
materialized.
be pretty cool, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had who was one? Garrett Smithley reach out to me.
Mhm.
We're still processing, trying to figure some of that stuff out. Yeah, just a bunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
No,
it's cool. It's cool talking to all this stuff because I'm new-ish to the NASCAR world. I was never really big into NASCAR until COVID era. My mom,
really?
my mom, my granddad, and my sister all raced arena racing.
Oh,
So does Scott.
oh, so Michelle then, right?
Yep,
Who was that?
yep.
Is that-
Michelle Pro. Yep, that's my mom.
Oh, really? Okay. So
Yep.
I didn't race with her. She'd kind of quit. And when it went back to Richmond is when I started in arena racing again.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. My granddad used to race mini stocks at Langley. Joe
Hey,
Adams.
Who?
Joe Adams.
Hmm.
He
Like
raced
what year was that?
95 to like 2000. Because I think he quit when I was born in 2001. I could be wrong because I think 2001 is when Mom went to go race in arena racing.
Okay. So that was a little bit after. Well, it was right when I left in 98 or something like that. 97. We raced here actually the first pit crew competition. No, the last pit crew. They used to have back in 95. So I'm the 95 pit crew champion of Langley Speedway, reigning champ because they haven't had it since. So I'm still the champ.
Yeah, I mean, I have a sportsmanship award from my grandfather from 99 on my wall right now.
Okay. Yeah.
He was never first, but he was always the nicest guy in the garage, I guess.
So like probably just before him, I don't know if he caught part of that when he first started because like 93, 94, 95, you had Kathy Mosier and Tanya Miller. They were like two females, man. The mini stock class, it was mini stock then, instead of like mini stocks, man. That was like a big draw because you had two females that ran 1-2 every week, and each one of them wanted to give the other one a hard time. They were great friends off the racetrack, but on the racetrack, man, they roughed each other up, and
they put them elbows out. They were getting ready. They were going after it.
Oh,
Brandon raced U cars too for a couple of years.
Oh, did you?
Yep. I raced U cars in 23.
Okay, so what would you sign for?
It's way too expensive for me. I'll stick to racing online for now. This year, I sold the car and I bought a camera.
Well, I mean, you probably did better than Jack. Jack never won a race. He actually can't defend himself because this was great. He went asphalt racing, and Robbie Parker went out there to Southampton the first time and lapped Jack twice in one lap. That's my story. So when
you have to ask Robbie about it.
Yeah, ask Robbie about it. He'll tell you. Okay.
All right. Yeah, you're currently talking to the what is it? P9 in the U-Car championship points right now from 2023.
And the best looking car on Day of Destruction, I might add too.
Absolutely. Thank you.
The pink 38.
Oh, really?
Yep. I raced that for a year, and then I said I want to go faster, and then we picked up the U-Car. But mind you, we have no mechanical expertise or anything. My granddad, who passed in 2009, he had all the mechanical expertise, but I felt like I needed to do it at least once just to see how I liked it, you know?
Texas bullshit.
But yeah, when Brandon's not working for Carson, he's doing a flow camera, or he's even just in the pits, man. He's everywhere.
Yep. I'm loving Langley. I love the vibe. I love racetracks. I'm starting to feel like Carson at this point.
Very fortunate at Langley, right? I mean, we have a lot of good people here. The equipment, I mean, compared to most places, don't have the stuff that we have.
Never mind. Go ahead.
So I think we're, super So how was your arena racing? Or so your mom racing? You never raced?
Yep. Nope. My mom and my sister raced. Brittany Bangus and Michelle Pearl.
Okay, I've heard the
Um,
name, but I
yeah,
would like that was just before me.
yeah, they were known for flipping. Uh,
That's easy to do.
yeah, yeah.
I went outside the racetrack one time.
Every time I bring it up to my mom, she always says, "Did you know that I had a sponsor on the underside of my car just so they could get some camera time?"
Was that the one that had the Chick-fil-A sponsor?
No, I don't think so. I think it was Tape Inc. was on the underside of her car. I
Okay.
believe so.
That's good
What,
marketing.
what was the marketing skit?
I don't think there was any. I
Of
really don't think so.
Tim's been he's on like birthdays and parties with his car. Tim Wilson.
Bringing the car everywhere, man.
I know he's taking that game day car to the kids' party. Tell them why they're young.
He was here a couple weeks ago, and they were lining up almost to the gate, man.
Nice. Robbie Parker lies, and Scott needs to talk about that. Well, Jack, we need to find out about this package that you got. Are you going to keep us all in suspense? I mean, he got some mystery package. He texted
That's
me.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, he texted me accusing me of mailing him some package that I don't know anything about.
I think Robbie knows more about it than we do.
Or somebody, because there was a whole lot of people seemed like they knew something.
Yeah, he needs to go ask Crystal or somebody. Crystal and Sparky are on the same cruises.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to go talk to them right now.
Well,
It seems like
one of them. You can talk to one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I love them both, but
Hey, my mom's on the same cruise, so I'm.
oh, is she?
Yeah,
Why are we not there?
Tell her to go ask Jack why he was lapped twice in one lap.
Oh my god! Everybody's on this cruise except the three of us. We're stuck here. What are we doing?
So then what did you do for a living before you started working for?
I just retail jobs. In high school, middle school, high school, I was all football. I went to Bridgewater College, up about 10 minutes away from JMU to go play football for about a year. But some stuff kind of happened with my roommate, and I had to leave. So, but that was the end of my football career, and that was about peak COVID time, and that was when NASCAR and iRacing teamed up to make that the Pro Invitational or whatever it was to keep NASCAR alive during COVID, and that brought my spark back into racing because I always enjoyed going to the races, but I never sought it out before that really. I never kept up with it, and then once that happened, something clicked in my brain like, oh, I really really like this.
So when did you become an employee over there, and how did that happen, and what was going through your mind?
Became an employee of CARSON, or
Yeah,
I just in February. He said, "Hey, you want to do some stuff for me?" And I didn't think much of it at the time. I just thought it was one or two like videos just to have some fun, just to try and play off of him having 8,000 live viewers at the time. And then he just kept growing and growing and growing, and he wanted more. So every time he went live on Twitch or he said some stupid stuff on the radio during the races, I would record it from the HBO Max stuff where we get the in-car cams, and I just edit it all together and we post it. And
does he like to make fun of himself too?
yes, 100%. Absolutely.
I love that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime, and I have a hard time sometimes laughing at myself. I mean, I do, but especially if somebody can, take a joke, right?
Absolutely.
I love that, right? Because
Yeah.
then you own it, right? You said some stuff, because look, we all say stuff in the race cars that on the car after a few minutes we wouldn't have said.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes a few minutes after we get out of the car, but maybe the next day you're like, maybe I should have that. I know I've done that a lot.
Hey, that's part of racing though. That's the passion. That's what we love to see.
Right. Yeah. I had one, actually, you'll appreciate this one. I had an arena race, and I'd gotten not Jimmy John's, is Johnny Rockets as a sponsor, and they had a booth in a store inside the Coliseum in Richmond. So I talked them in, and they would give us food, and I put their name on the car. The very first night we put the sticker on the car, I get into it with somebody. He wrecks me on lap 1, and those things break so easy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk to the kid under the caution, and I'm just like, dude, you can't win the race on lap 1. Like, come on, man, it's lap 1. Like, you're not going. We're 5th or 6th, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And so we go up to the sponsor. Well, that kid's father comes over to me. He's like, I don't appreciate you talking to my kid. He's only 17 years old or so. I'm like, I'm having a conversation with him. Like, I wasn't trying to fight him.
Yeah.
And me and the father get in a pretty heated, argument. He's like, well, it's not his fault. I put a tire on the right front. I'm like, he's the one that holds the fucking steering wheel. Like, it doesn't matter. He's holding the steering wheel. He should have went to the back or should have took it easy the first lap instead of just driving in my door and run me up in the racetrack. But finally, my crew gets in between us. Is like, look, we're just going to agree to disagree. Yeah. And I turn around to our new sponsor, and the guy that owns the stores, he's like, look, if you need me to Tanya Hardy somebody, you let me know. And I'm like, oh, this is going to work out great. Myself and Race Kane a little bit, and he loved it. He's like, they talk about you a lot. They're like, yeah, that's what a 29 car. He's gonna get you.
Yeah. Good Lord. Brandon, what are you doing next year, man? You gonna be around Langley much?
Absolutely. Whenever I'm not gonna be down in Charlotte for him or traveling wherever we're gonna travel, I'm planning on going down to Langley. I'd like to go to some real races with Carson, go film some of that stuff, but he says, and I quote, no race day vlogs, because everybody does those. I mean, that's just what everybody tries to do now, and it's the same stuff, Hey, look, this is what I do pre-race. Here's the race. Oh man, we finished. See you next week.
Yeah,
and
I didn't think of it like that, but I agree.
They're becoming more popular now. Yeah.
And he wants to be different, and he's doing a bunch of collaborations with a bunch of big streamers, a bunch of big YouTubers. Yeah. Like, so we're going down to Cletus.
Do you put them together?
Absolutely. Yep. I put all his stuff together, except for like.
But I'm saying, like, the YouTube guy or whoever that you want to collab with, are you kind of making that relationship or bringing that together?
Nope. Everyone that he's collaborating with has reached out to him through the reels. They'll see him cussing somebody out on iRacing or something on his Instagram, and they're like, "Oh shit, that's funny. Let's do something." And that's how, like, Cletus and him got together, and they had, like, I want to say, like, 30,000 live viewers on Cletus's channel, had like 2,000 on Carson's at the time. That was when Cletus had just gotten his sim rig together, and they've been hooked up ever since. And now we're going down there Friday, just so he can go wreck a Crown Vic.
So then, does he just send you a bunch of stuff, or do you kind of got to go get it?
I got to go get it, but it's not too bad. I mean, if you Google his name, you'll just find a bunch of just random stuff. If you need, like, B-roll of him at a track, you'll just go on Spire's Twitter or Spire's Instagram, because every race they always do that type of stuff. But I enjoy it. It's fun for me. I get to have fun with him. He's a goofy dude. He's exactly like me. It's just fun. I mean,
match made in heaven.
Right.
Basically, I have a blast hanging out with him, talking to him, just shooting the shit. He's a goofy dude, and he loves race cars.
And Chili's.
Chili's. He loves Chili's. He loves Chili's.
He does look funny as hell walking around that fire suit. I mean, sometimes you look at it, you're like, damn, that's the fire suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a pretty cool suit, though. I mean, I'll give you that. But he said they're tall and lanky,
Yeah.
So when you make a video or whatever, do you send it to him and he approves it, or does he?
Yeah. Because some of the stuff he says on stream, he shouldn't post on his social medias. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay stuff, but it's not like Spire, Chili's would approve of that. So I'll send it to him. He'll cut it from the videos or whatever, and then he'll just post it. But if it's like a YouTube video where it's like a bigger production, I'll usually fly down to his house so we can go film it, go edit it together, so we can have like, just so it's easier to communicate, really. And it's really not that bad.
So he's that knowledgeable. So he edits a lot of that stuff himself.
Yeah, he's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to that type of stuff, which caught me very much by surprise.
Yeah, I am surprised.
He's a businessman. He's a social media guy. He's crazy. He does every single one of his Instagram posts, Facebook posts, Twitter posts is all him. He doesn't have a social media person that goes onto his stuff and types up stuff for him.
Dang.
He's 22 and he's all doing himself.
You know, I mean, sometimes you got to put that in perspective too. He's 22. Like, it's hard to believe that he is still that young. You don't think about it because he's been around for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean, not that long, but I mean, obviously he's been fast, or he's done things to get people's attention. I mean, I remember 3 or 4 years ago Junior was talking about him when he ran into him or something. I was like, when are you going to quit tearing cars up, you know? So obviously for Dale Jr. to recognize him, obviously he's got to have some type of talent, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's a wheelman, in my opinion. Everybody disagrees with me, says he's a dumbass, but I think he's a wheelman. Just give it a year or two, he'll be a winner, and once he wins, everybody's opinion will change.
I most definitely think he can win. I mean, I think he can do it where he's at.
I agree.
I don't know who this is. Somebody popped up in our queue. Says, guess who?
Uh-oh. Who's hijacking our
Oh, this got to be Jack. He's trying to, because he put it.
It's got to be.
It's gotta be Jack.
That's the slow internet on this ship.
He put it right up on the screen, so
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Last time it was like we were talking to somebody that had G1 or it was like every other word he was moving like this.
Just gonna keep us guessing for a minute.
Oh, we know who it is.
We're gonna see Jack on the dance floor here in a minute.
I don't know what's gonna pop up.
Right, him or he said he's on the cruise with Dennis Anderson, Tony Specchia, Joe. I don't know who the hell that is, and Crystal and Sparky West.
Michelle Pearl.
Yeah.
Everybody except us, man.
Right.
It's crazy. I can't believe they forgot us.
Right?
Right.
How did we let this
I
happen?
know. He says, Scott, I have something to get you back. I don't know what he's talking about.
He said he'd been making some phone calls about that.
That's what he said.
He said,
Well, I will say I'm long overdue.
Excited.
He said, I have some names now. Wonder whose names he's got.
Shut down the internet on the cruise.
I think what he's doing. We're gonna say, can you? Is there any way you can help him, Brandon?
Not from here, man. I
Look,
wish.
If you make a funny picture or a video of him, I will post it.
All right, I got you.
I'm not even sure where he's at. He could be anywhere.
He's
in the
out to
Atlantic
sea
Ocean.
somewhere. He's gone now. So he'll be back. That's one thing about it. He is persistent.
He'll pop back.
He'll keep trying.
Oh, look, I'm telling you, like he's like a dog with a bone sometimes. Like if he's got something, like if he's got somebody he wants to get on the show,
He's gonna make it happen.
you know how like most women, like you give them a task, they will annoy the hell out of somebody to get it. He's that person. Great, because he'll get it done.
Oh, yeah.
Me, if I call you once and you don't call me back, I'll be like, I ain't calling him again.
All right, I tried.
Yeah, not that.
That's the shit have to tell us.
Shit out of luck. Sorry, ain't talking to you.
Dial up internet. Yeah, probably. Hey,
Hmm. So you're going to Florida on Friday. How long are you
Yep.
going to be down there?
I think I'm honestly not too sure. Just depending on how much he wants to stay. I think he's down there right now. He's being a caddy for the Annika golf tournament that's sponsored by Gamebridge. It's the LPGA, I believe, or I'm not sure. It's some I think it's just some celebrity golf tournament, really, that he's a caddy for, of all things.
Okay, that's hilarious.
I think he's too scared to swing a golf club.
His golf.
Well, yeah, I mean, he is kind of leaky. That would be.
They didn't invite him to play.
Although I hope they put him with some short person, right? They're like carrying the caddy. They're like, hey, can you hand me the 900?
I saw Caitlin Clark was supposed to be there. So I think it's some Indiana Fever. Because Indiana Fever is sponsored by Gamebridge, and Gamebridge is one of his sponsors. So I think it's some Indiana Fever players. It might be Caitlin Clark. Who knows?
Right.
Well, they got his size, so that'd be good.
I know, that's why I'm saying. A good couple right there. Oh, that's
Brandon's not much shorter than Carson.
Oh,
surprisingly, really? I'm normally one of the tallest people in the room, and he still towers over me.
How tall is he?
I'm 6'4". I want to say he's 6'6".
He might be. I mean, he is tall. For sure.
It just caught me when I first saw him. I was like, "There's no way."
I'm the big guy here.
Yeah, I'm like, damn.
Tonight.
I feel short now.
Not anymore. Now you know how the rest of us feel, Brandon. Well, Brandon, we appreciate, man, spending some time with us.
Yes, sir.
Been with us for a while, man, and we greatly appreciate it, man. Good luck to you. And if there's anything, man, that we can do to help or vice versa, man, let us know, man. That's what we're here for. Thank you for, doing the stuff here at Langley Speedway. Good luck to you, and we hope you the best, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Is that what it is? You got anybody you need to shout out to?
No, not really. My wife, and he'll be all right. He'll be all right. He's got too many viewers as it is.
Right. Brandon, we appreciate it. Oh, go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say my Instagram and Facebook and stuff. My personal videography and photography stuff is Turn 2 Media. If you see a big dude with long hair at the track, that's me. That's I Turn 2 Media.
He gets all the aerial shots.
Yeah. I do the flow stuff too. Hey.
Yeah, if he's not on the camera, he's on a flow cam.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's better than Aaron? Not Aaron.
Casey,
yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
More often.
Yeah.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
I figured I'd get some stirred up.
Yeah. Now Ray he can give a run for his money.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Well, all right, buddy. We appreciate it, man. Like I said, if there's anything we can do, man, let us know, please.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for letting me be on tonight. It was a lot of fun.
See you, buddy.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah.
how can you imagine, just working around, doing some camera stuff here, and then
Just
a random number from Carson HOCEVAR text you like, hey, you want to do my stuff?
Come hang out for a couple weeks. Yeah, sure, why not?
And then go to work for him was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's gotta be unreal. He told me about it before it happened, and I was like, dude, you gotta be stoked. And he was excited.
Right. I mean, absolutely. I mean, when Carson said that on Dale Jr. Download, I was like I know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on Junior show. Nick shouted him out right by name.
Yeah. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that's got to be, living a dream, right?
Oh, yeah.
In a way, especially something that's kind of a hobby that you really like, it kind of turns into a job.
And he's got your back like that, to give you a shout out on the show. Like, that's got to make you feel incredible.
Absolutely, right? I mean, you get recognized for your work. All right, let's see. We got Tom here. Let's get Tom on. Let's play another one of our video. I seen they added these things. Let's see. Who can we play here? Let's do.
Hi, I'm Lenny Baticki from PRN at the Track, and you're watching Jack Dodson's Racing Insider with Scott Allen and Adam Wellbrock.
What's up, Tom? How you doing, man?
Hey, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's life treating you?
Life's great, man. Jack looks good there, man. He's had a complete makeover since I saw you guys.
Less gray hair.
On the cockfight diet, man. That's why I ask people, like, when they lose a bunch of weight, I'm like, man, what'd you do go on the glass pipe?
Yeah. I
need
can
to go on
I
it.
can see it in his face how much weight he's lost. It's great. Great to be with you guys. Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. I was listening, watching, and always fun to hear from somebody associated with Carson Husqvarna there.
Right. I mean, pretty cool. He's a local guy here for us. We do our show from Langley Speedway. He runs some cameras here for Langley Speedway with the flow stuff and other stuff. And Carson kind of outed him, earlier in the season on the Dale Jr. download.
Yeah, I saw that episode.
So that's pretty cool for a young kid. Although I don't know how Brandy's not that old, but
Early 20s, about the same age as Carson.
yeah. So and now being able to work and do this for a living is pretty cool for him. Where Tom, you and Jack and us and Adam, we're doing this for fun.
Yeah, I wish. No, this is definitely my living, and I enjoy it quite a lot, actually. It's always a blessing to be able to turn your passion into your profession.
Are you doing this for a living, Tom?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Good for you, man.
Sure. Yeah. 38 years in motorsports media, and the last 21 of them have been full time. So
good for you, man.
One way or another. Well, thank you.
Sorry for being dumb. So how
it's all right.
Started, man?
Oh Lord. I start my folks started taking me to the races when I was 5. I grew up in Oswego, New York, so I grew up with Oswego Speedway and the super modifieds.
Okay.
Open wheel, open cockpit super modifieds back in the 70s, and I got hooked the first night, and it was kind of a typical childhood, I guess. Hot Wheels cars and lots of racing, and of course, I started going in 73, so it was about 6 years before we had a flag to flag NASCAR race. So it was a really different environment back in the 70s. And I honestly think it was the greatest decade because racing was still really pure. You didn't have all the big corporate sponsors, and everything was stock parts, at least mostly. And it was just, I think, a really innovative time for everybody in the sport at really all levels.
So how did you go from that to having your own media stuff?
So I was 3 years out of high school in 1988. Our local paper up there had an ad for a racing writer, and
okay.
I really didn't have any writing experience per se, but I was real, I knew a lot about racing, and we used to get all the racing trade papers and all that. So my mother talked me into applying for it and ended up actually getting it. So that's how I started, was just as a writer for the local newspaper, and then started my own radio show a couple of years after that, and just kept going from there. So I've been involved in media in one form or another ever since 1988, and had an opportunity to do a lot of different stuff in the sport, between announcing and race directing and track management and series management and working with drivers and all that. I've done a little bit of everything, spotting, working on pit crews over the years. Haven't really driven much myself. Did some go-kart racing and a couple of big car starts, but that was later in my 30s, and it was never obviously a thing that I intended to do as a career or any of that. It was just opportunities came, and it was good for me to kind of have that experience and be able to sort of bring that into my media work, right? The perspective of being behind the wheel. So, yeah.
So then, like, when was your first time that you got to go to a big cup race, and what was that experience like? I'm sure it's much different than what we get to do today, right? You got a spot. You probably didn't have any place to go back then, right?
Well, so first time at a cup race was in 1977 at Pocono with my sister and her husband, and watched, obviously as a fan, and that was incredible. Again, you're watching Benny Parsons and Daryl and Richard and David and Janet Guthrie was racing, and Marty Robbins, and it was just so different from the short tracks that I was going to, up in Central New York, to be able to go and see a race on a huge track like that. And then my first NASCAR media was Watkins Glen in probably 89 or 90, somewhere in there. Jeff Gordon was still in the Xfinity series when I was, first getting started in covering NASCAR races. And, it was, again, I remember it being very different because, the first few years that I did it, walking around, all the drivers were just hanging out like on the back of their trailers or, again, it was just such a different atmosphere. They were so much more accessible. Now it's just hard. I kind of feel bad for the drivers now because the fans always want more access to them, but really they have so much to do on race weekends with, sponsor appearances and all that. And, they can't really just kind of hang around, walk around without being mobbed, It's so I sort of see it from both sides, right? I would love to have the fans have more access, but there's so many more fans now in the garage too. And so it's just a whole different atmosphere, I feel like.
You're 100% right. And it's funny, me and Butterbean had this conversation this weekend that, used to be, you kind of just showed up with your helmet on Sundays and then you do a little bit more during the week. Now, I mean, these guys are 24/7. They're sim racing. They're going over, Monday or Tuesday debriefs. And then, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, you're kind of going off of, what's coming up this weekend and how, what's your plan, what's your fit strategy and all these things. And you have a full-time job 7 days a week.
Well, yeah, it is. And I mean, and not that they should complain about it. Right. But, nonetheless, it is still work. And I think sometimes the fans don't understand that, the drivers on Sundays, if you're in the Cup Series, on Sundays, you're at the office. You're obviously part of it. You want to give some time to the fans and you try to do what you can, but it's just completely different in 2025 than it was in 1980, or 1990 when I was first starting in media. It's a completely different situation in the garage area. And, it's hard sometimes for fans to understand, I think, that, the access has to be limited because, they're focusing on what they're doing and they're trying to, you don't see, even you still have more access to the NASCAR guys than you do to, the Cleveland Browns if you're in the stadium on Sunday, right? I mean, I think fans just sort of forget sometimes that these are humans, these are people, and that they need time with their families. They got sponsor obligations on Sundays. You want to do the church service if they have one, whatever the case. But it's just hard. I like I said, sometimes I feel bad for them because I know a lot of them would like to spend more time with the fans. There just isn't that time anymore. They've shortened the race weekend to the point where they've taken a lot of that extra time out of it.
Yeah, they're not doing as many sponsor appearances to where they're doing fan interaction stuff, right? I don't think since COVID or maybe even before that, there's not as much of that. But, I think a lot of the fans don't understand how much stuff goes on behind the scenes or how much, for an example, for me is I did some stuff with Denny Hamlin and a client of mine in my shop is Ryan Zimmerman, a third baseman for the Nationals for a while. And they're both from Virginia. They both started their career the same year. They're both professional numbers are 11. So we were doing some doing some stuff for Denny's foundation and doing some stuff for Ryan's foundation, the Zim's foundation for MS. And so I'd got my brother some backstage or some hot passes. Go meet Denny in the trailer, yada yada yada. And my brother's like, well, we just show up, we go like an hour before the race. I'm like, no, you got to take off Friday and go for the Friday race. And he's just blown away that, oh, I thought you just showed up with a car and drove it out on the racetrack. I'm like, no, there's so much more.
Yeah.
That's what I think some people don't understand or don't realize besides the, super hard, diehard fans. And they look through a different lens, right? They think you have all the time in the world that you're making.
Right. When you're not in the car, you can, yeah.
And 10 years ago, so I worked on an Xfinity team for a little bit, and you don't realize, or the fans don't realize you're trying to push a car down pit road. You're trying to get to the inspection station. You got NASCAR hollering at you. You got to fix this. And then the fans are coming over and want to talk to you. And you would love to conversate with them, but you just don't have the time.
Right.
And people don't understand.
Yeah, it is. It's the race days. Cause again, thinking about, we used to have a whole day of practice, you'd have happy hour, and now the race weekend's so condensed that a lot of the time, the extra time the drivers would have had to go out to their souvenir trailer or just sort of hang around, the car and sign autographs. They just don't have that anymore, so part of that I blame on NASCAR for just not allowing, and having that, but I think everybody wanted to, I think COVID sort of forced the schedule to condense. And then I guess everybody just thought they should keep doing it. I kind of wish they'd go back to having that extra day of practice. Not, I understand it costs the teams more or whatever, but it just would, again, would give the drivers more access to again. But a lot of it's not the driver's fault. They would like to spend the time. They just can't, they don't have it to spend.
Yeah. And thank God for their PR people.
Yeah.
That runs the interference for them as they're trying to get somewhere.
See, that's the thing. I feel like PR at the NASCAR level is as much, a guard dog and babysitter as it is actual public relations work, because you're sort of in charge of making sure the driver doesn't get, can get from place to place and kind of moving the crowd out of the way, because again, time's tight. The schedules are tight on race weekends now. I sort of hate that. It seemed more fun when you had, that had the extra practices and such. It was more on track, but even as a media person, we get so little access to them. They come in and do a bullpen or whatever. And, but trying to get one-on-one is getting harder and harder. And, so.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to like the bullpen, right? I mean, you kind of got to everybody. You had some access, but like you said, you don't have that sort of personal. If you want to get a decent story or a certain subject, it's hard to do to get over. Do you have like a favorite moment that you've had an interaction with somebody that's pretty cool?
It's funny you would bring that up. I was just sharing this story earlier today with somebody, but in this isn't a NASCAR moment, but it's an IndyCar moment. One year up at the New York State Fairgrounds during State Fair week, they had a little electric powered Indy car with Marlboro set it up. It was called the Marlboro Grand Prix, and you would pay to get in the car and you go, run laps, and then at the end of the day, whoever had the top time would win a prize or whatever. And they had a day for media, and there were about 9 or 10 of us that were there, and I ended up setting the fastest time. And so for doing that, I got a nice Marlboro jacket, and I also got an interview with Emerson Fittipaldi. Oh, wow. And it was supposed to be 15 minutes. And I can still remember it to this day. We sat down in a couple of lawn chairs, a beautiful summer day. We're sitting outside in a couple of lawn chairs. I have my little cassette recorder. And he ended up giving me a little over 45 minutes. And Emerson treated me as if I were the most important media person in the world. He was so gracious. He told me so many great stories. For me at that point in my career, it was probably my second year doing media.
Oh, wow.
Maybe third, it was real early on. And for me to have that privilege to be able to sit with him and he was he was, big. I mean, not that he's not big now. He was an icon then, and he's still an icon. Right. And so then, a number of years later, I ended up being able to sit down. I think this probably goes back 5-6 years with Enzo, his grandson, and do a radio show with Enzo. He was probably 15 at the time. And again, they are the nicest, most down to earth, humble people, the Fittipaldis. And I was telling him how, his grandfather and I had done that interview, and it was, I will never forget the time that Emerson spent with me, because it really made a big impression on me that here was this driver, because you see so many of the IndyCar drivers, at least back then, it felt like, you get the big shades and they walk around like they're important, and he had every right to do that. But he didn't. He was sitting with this, little small time media guy from a local paper in Oswego, and has a radio show. And so I got radio sound and got an article out of that, and just never forgot the time that he spent with me. And I've always wished that I could get back to him again and just kind of remind him of that. I'm sure he probably wouldn't remember, but I would want him to know that I didn't forget, and I think that's something when you're, working with young drivers, you got to teach them that impression and sometimes is forever. Right. And so you want it to always be a good one. And that was probably one of my most, humbling moments in my entire career being involved in the sport is having that time with somebody of that stature, because he was my favorite. And, and I had the chance to interview him. It was great. And he gave me, 30 more minutes than he had to. He just, I think we kept going till his PR guy told him he had to go.
So how nervous were you with that?
I was nervous going into it, but I had prepared some questions. So I didn't feel like I would the tongue tied but once we got a few minutes in and he was just sitting there and just talking, and I realized that he wasn't going to be arrogant or short answered or, it was so much fun, and I really didn't want it to end, honestly. And that's something I'll always remember. And I think, it says a lot for somebody like him about who he was, and I'm sure still is, that, he would go that much overtime. And then, he did tell me at the end, he really enjoyed the interview and thanked me for doing it, which, again, the pleasure was all mine, sir.
Right. That's way cool.
Yeah.
I think that's a way cool. So how did you get in, or not say get into, but where did you get your I guess writing skills from? Were you already pretty good writer? Because I mean, obviously, and I'm good at running my mouth, right? So that's why
Me too.
And you're
That's
good
my
at
number
writing.
one skill.
Asking questions is not my strong suit, or coming up with some questions. It's just like we tell most people, like we've had some people, that used to be big time and they would want us to submit the questions ahead of time. Like, there is no questions. We don't know what it is until we start talking. Like, it's just completely as free a conversation as it could get. And there's no editing. We're live. So
Yeah, which to me is always the most fun. When I started doing radio, my first radio show, it was a call-in show, and I used to love the calls because, that's interacting with the audience, and that was the best part of the show. But no, I was always a really good reader, even when I was very little, and I always read. So I think when I first got the job as the newspaper writer, I think, I kind of just tried to just write what I thought and didn't really pay too much. I didn't know what I didn't know. And then my sports editor was good about, just helping me to kind of understand AP styling and, how many sentences in a paragraph and all of that. And then it just sort of became, a matter of I've always studied other people. I always, I watch biographies all the time. I just am always learning something or trying to. So I just tried to if I saw somebody that I knew was a good writer, I tried to study him and then, see how they were forming sentences or whatever. And, you hear somebody use a phrase that you like, you steal it, right? It's sort of a, same with announcers. We all are just, we're all just sort of balances of chemistry of each other, right? We all steal from each other, and so, and I've done a lot of that too. So I guess just, thank God that my mom was reading to me from the time I was old enough to remember, and probably before. And, I just always loved, talking about racing. I don't ever remember wanting to drive. I wasn't one of these, kids, which is probably good because I didn't know about quarter midgets or carts or anything when I was young, and we couldn't have afforded anything like that anyway. So, I just found the way into the sport through writing and talking and then announcing and have just sort of taken opportunities when I've had them and tried to do my best with them. And, I'm just thankful I've had a number of mentors in different parts of the sport that, whether it was learning to announce better or, writing or whatever. And, I'm just thankful for those people. And I've tried to, through the work that I've done, there are a number of media that sort of started in with me that are now full-time in the sport. And, I just try to always pay it forward because I had a lot of people, help me in the beginning to get better.
You didn't take any advice from Al Pierce, did you?
No, I didn't.
Al's from here.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me when you said how you got your first job. You know how Al got his first job or his first gig?
How's that?
So just like you, there was an ad for a NASCAR, for I think it was the Daily Press or Virginia Pallet back then. I don't know. I can't remember.
Okay.
And he puts in for it, and they asked him, did he know anything about racing? He's like, I know everything there is to know about racing, and he knew nothing. Now, I'll tell you another funny one. Al's first race was at Dover.
Okay.
I can't remember what year it was. Richard Petty won the race, and I don't know how long he'd been writing up for the paper. Not long. I mean, probably a few months or so. And Richard gets out of the car, obviously climbs through the window, and Al's question was, why didn't he just open the door? So Richard Petty. Richard said, boy, you don't know a whole lot about racing, do you? And he said, no, but I intend on learning.
That's pretty funny. That reminds me of the story that's I heard somewhere about the first time Richard went up to test at Pocono and came back and told his crew there were only 3 turns, and they were like, how do you get back to the finish line?
Oh, that's a good one.
It's just, it's a fair question, right? If you think about it.
I never would have thought of that one. That's a good one. How do you get back to start?
How do you get back to the finish line? But it's, again, I think, I know you've been around a while, guys, and as have I, and I just feel like we're so lucky to have been able to be a part of, a sport that's continually evolved the way that it has, and to get to know, because to me, this is a sport about people. And I think sometimes, look, I can be critical of NASCAR or whatever, or this driver or that driver, but I try to be critical of what they did. I think people get vicious and get, kind of personal for no reason. It's like, these are human beings after all. Like, criticize the move they made, but don't
Make it personal.
Yeah, it's the tone sometimes is just really bad, and it's got to be hard for, especially a younger driver to to sort of tune that out, and and I mean, I don't want to take away anybody's First Amendment rights, but I think sometimes we don't give enough thought to the way that we express a thought. And maybe I could say the same thing, but just, not be quite so angry, you know what I mean? I just feel lucky to have been a part of the sport all these years. And I moved here to the Charlotte area in 2006. And, again, I've had the chance to meet a lot of the older drivers, and even obviously current, but I just to be able to sit down with a Bill Blair Jr., for example, who's 85 or 86 years old and was actually a part of the earliest years of NASCAR, and still is cogent enough to be able to tell all those stories. That to me is just priceless, and racing is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And so, I just love talking about it, and I don't care what part of the sport it is. I love it all, So
sometimes I wonder what Big Bill France would think if he see where the sport is today. I mean, what he created.
Yeah.
Back, I don't know if he could really see that. I don't know if he himself could have done it. I mean, I think, Bill Jr. obviously was a big, big component, right? I mean, he really took the sport to another level for sure.
I just feel like, I mean, and you can tell me if you agree with this or not, but I feel like when Bill France was building NASCAR, he built it around the racing. And now I feel like we're building the racing around TV and around entertainment way too much. And when NASCAR has to hire an agency to try to get the blue collar fans back, it's like,
you
already know, just go back 60 years and do what Bill did. It's like,
I agree. And I think, I think some of that is, look, when Brian come in, right. And I'm not trying to beat on Brian, but
yeah.
And I will say I was not a fan of the whole chase format at first, but it has brung some entertainment into the sport.
Sure.
Yeah. Now I don't know what their tweak is going to be. I mean, obviously there's going to be some kind of change coming, or it feels that way anyway. But I think they kind of lost their way a little bit. I think they got a little too corporate. And I like Mark Martin made a comment one day. It's like, what's wrong with being the best NASCAR there is? Why do we trying to compete for football or IndyCar?
I agree.
Or F1? I don't think we're ever going to get to F1. I mean, when you go to an F1 race, that's a completely different atmosphere. It's a completely hugely more amount of money, and the fans are in two different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I agree. It's F1 is sort of entertainment, and there's a race. Oh, by the way, right? And the racing it's more about the manufacturers, the drivers. So it's a completely different mindset than than what we grew up with. Not to say it's bad, but it just different. Yeah. And you're right, NASCAR, and I've said this for a while, NASCAR is trying too hard to be this sort of big market worldwide, and it's, I sort of feel like if you're more worried about, creating big events than you are, how good your racing is, you're drifting away from what Bill France created, because Bill France created a racing series. Yeah. And I understand TV wants certain things, but the fact that TV wants 40 cars in a pack, so they make it so there is 40 cars in the pack, and everybody looks like they're trying to pass, and they could pass, but they really aren't, and they can't, and they're running 3/4. It's like, you get away from the original point of the sport, which was to race. And, this sort of equalizing the field, you can't have, it's hard to have big stars when everybody's equal.
I agree. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because I think you wouldn't have Trackhouse would not be Trackhouse if we have more such an even field or equal opportunity.
You don't think?
Nah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it would be. I think it accelerated their rise because they could buy the same equipment, right? Yeah, could be. Before, if you didn't get a car from Hendricks or Childress or Penske or those guys, you were way behind on technology. There's such an engineering-driven thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, we go buy some control arms and bolt them on. There was all this technology built into the chassis.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think at one time they were running a chassis 3.5 races or 2.5 races or something like that at one time because they were just coming up with something new.
Sure.
So I think that would have been hard to come into the sport and do where we have the car now. I got the same thing that Adam has, right? And I mean, obviously cream comes to the top, and there are some things the guys are doing and working on. And it's just how much you want to explore that or how much risk you're willing to take.
Yeah.
Just lack of a better term, but
I just feel like it almost, I mean, yeah, I could, and I agree with you. I think in some cases it makes it easier for the front rows and, and those guys to compete. On the other hand, though, we're at a point now, if you look at the stats closely enough, you look at who's winning all the championships and all the races, we're kind of back to where, once in a while, maybe a front row shows up or a track house, but I feel like back when the teams could sort of build their own stuff and do their own thing a little, if Trackhouse had the right people, then they could sort of innovate their way into, success. Now everybody has mostly the same stuff and there's not much margin to play in for the teams to do their own thing. So I feel like like you said, it's a double-edged sword, but I do feel like to a degree it's taken away the individuality a little bit, and we've gone so far from racing being an art to where, for example, Dale could see the air at Daytona. Now I don't think that would matter, because they're all in a bunch. And it's more of a science now. It's data driven, and there's war rooms that are contributing to the strategy from the shops, no matter where the race is. And so the drivers are all starting to drive like each other because they all figure out, what the winners on that track are doing. They can see each other's data.
Correct.
It's just becoming more homogenized rather than, and that really, it's just a different sport. And I think that's even true in some cases at the short track levels in certain parts of the sport too. You're starting to see, I think Aero has done a lot of damage to the quality of the racing, to be honest. The more it goes from an art to a science, it just changes the racing at all levels.
Yeah. And I agree with you, especially on the new, well, I think they're going back next year to the older system they use for not Hawkeye or whatever was it Blue Eye, Fish Eye?
You're talking about the Hawkeye? No, it's the Hawkeye. If you're talking about the
data with every driver's driving.
The SMT.
Yeah, well, I think the one with the cameras they're using now, it's not as accurate. So I understand they're going back to the one they used 2 years ago, 3 years ago. They're using GPS.
Okay.
You go like Dale Jr. Remember was talking about, he was following his dad, and I don't remember what racetrack, but he was letting off at the flag stand, and he about run into him. He was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm getting in the corner easier, and I'm making the straightaways as long as possible," which a lot of short track guys do.
Yeah.
And just like you're saying that, now you can go over and look at the data and be like, okay, well, he's doing this, and I can just that learning curve is, where before you would need to go talk to a Denny Hamlin at Martinsville and say like, "Hey man, what am I doing here? What can I do?" Or Rusty Wallace and get some pointers and like, "Hey, this is what you do, back off here," whatever. And that's just shorten that curve up. And to me, in some ways, it's not fair in some ways, because you're not having to figure it out. You're kind of being told.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost too fair if you want to look at it the other way. It's like, here's all the information you need, and now what's not fair is that, Kevin Harvick's advantage at Atlanta, or like Dale's advantage at Daytona all those years ago, right? Now everybody would know exactly what they were doing. So they could all do the same thing, or at least attempt to. And that's why you've gotten, especially at the short tracks, the speed differential so small throughout the field. That's why it's so hard to pass,
And it used to be cool to go to these race teams and you'd see all these people. Well, now there's not that, we got some friends from here that work over at Hayek, right? And we go over there and it's like, well, we got 4 cars and there's the pile of rear clips and that's the pile of old front clips. And yeah, we used to have a big fab shop here, but there's nothing there. We got the which I think is the Hawkeye machine, the scanner.
Yeah.
And Hawkeye. We're like, that's it.
Yeah.
The cool of seeing all this stuff and what they're working on. Jack's son worked over at Hendricks for many years, and before they went to this stuff, and it used to be so much fun to go over there, and obviously we got privy to information and what they're doing and what they're working on and how cool what their ideas they're doing or moving and trying these things and doing that, and working in the gray areas and different things. Like, that was so cool, and I don't know if we'll ever get back to that. I don't think we probably will, but I do think it was a better time.
Yeah. Well, it was a more sort of innovative time.
Yes.
And, so many of the greatest NASCAR stories are stories about cheating, right? About finding, not even just blatantly cheating, but the ones who sort of found, I always say that if you cause a track to have to make a rule, the track ought to pay you for the and at least name the rule after you, right? So that's called innovation, or whatever, as opposed to just breaking a rule that exists, right? But so many of the greatest stories are stories about innovation. You think about Smokey Yunick and the fuel line, and
oh yeah. We had the car and drove it back to the
and they said, well, how good was the mileage? And he's like, I could have driven the thing to Jacksonville. It's like, those are the stories that are, that make the sport colorful. And I think it's harder now, now when you what's the story now that somebody, they smoothed out a part of the body or painted it a different color to fool the Hawkeye, right? Like, there's not nearly as much fun in that story as there was in the Gaslight, right?
But the true fans love that part of it. But I think outside of that, they don't understand cheating. I don't say cheating. Working in that gray area, not a rule, and make a rule.
Yep.
Part of the sport. It's actually a very big part of the sport. I just remember years ago when I was racing some, and look, even everybody here, they're massaging the rules somewhere, some way, some shape or form. Yep. I don't care what anybody says, they're all doing it. Or we all did it. And my wife would be like, "What? Is that cheating?" I'm like, "Well, not really, but it's a little bit of a gray area." And you're like, "I can't believe you're cheating." Like, I don't know, like I was gonna be arrested and face on the news, like, when you get caught, I'm like, you get caught,
Well, and that's the thing. It's whatever you can live with, right? And again, back in the day, that's how you got an advantage, was to find something that nobody else was doing, or try to get away with something. And, the stories about, Buckshots being, Waltrip opened it up and let Buckshot out onto the track, just those things that's how people got ahead and found an edge, and you kind of dared NASCAR to catch it. And now it's just a lot harder, because you basically all got it. It's like, everybody getting a Lego set. You're just putting the Legos together, and there's not much that's unique between teams anymore. Which is why we talk about tires so much, because it's really the only way we can improve the racing with these cars right now without significantly changing the car.
Yeah. And it's funny going back to the gray area stuff, and how you have, and talk about the Buckshot with Daryl, and then you have Tim Brewer over there. They work for the same team for Junior Johnson, but they were both doing two completely different things. Like, you would think that they would all be on the same page and doing the Buckshot, but no, you had Daryl over here doing their thing, and nobody else hardly knew with Buckshot, and you had Tim Brewer over here that had the legs and the tires that he would roll over on the car, make the car real light, and then take the tires and roll them off, and put the real race tires on, doing the same thing, but just two different ways in the same team.
Well, because you're one shop, but you're two separate teams, and you don't want to give away the secret, because you want to beat your other team, right?
That's
still only one winner. So, and that's why guys like Darrell Waltrip never wanted a teammate. It wasn't because they were selfish, I guess, in a way you could say it was, but it was because there weren't enough parts to go around hardly for two cars back then. And if you came up with like a carburetor that was a little something, right? You didn't want it to end up on the other car.
Right.
So, you know, it was more of that sort of mentality. And now, of course, I mean, you know, everybody wants 3 or 4 cars because everybody wants to share data. But of course, now we all get everybody's data. So, you know, everybody's sharing at least driver SMT, you know, all of that's available universally anyways. So it's just a different time in the sport. But, you know, yeah, those days, you know, you learned a lot about mechanics, how to make the cars go fast, just listening to what they did to cheat, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I appreciate it, man. We've knocked some time out.
Yeah.
It's like it's been 5 minutes. I know, right? We can be going.
I
here
can talk all night.
So you're not alone. You'll give your webpage there and stuff a shout out there.
Absolutely. So the weekly TV show is the Tom Baker Show. We're on PowerTube TV. So their website is watchpowertubetv.com, or you can download PowerTube TV on Roku or Apple or Amazon, you know, any of those, or they have an app. If you go to the App Store, you can watch us on the app. We're on their podcast channel Monday nights, 8:00, the Tom Baker Show. Jacob Seelman and I co-host. We have guests. We talk about all kinds of racing. And then steeringwheelnation.com is obviously the brand site. And we have all kinds of content on there about all kinds of racing. We've got a staff of 7 or 8 of us, and you know, we're trying to really we all have racing that we like, and so we all try to bring our flavor to the stew. And so follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Wheel Nation. We definitely love to have you. We're going to be launching a community soon and doing some sim racing, so a lot of stuff going on for 2026. We're pretty excited about it.
Nice. Well, good job and congratulations. And
thank you so much.
We'll have to get to where we can have a real job and do that.
Yeah, we need to get on that level.
We're just fun.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it. And always fun to talk with you guys. Love the show, and love to come back and talk racing again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tom. And next time we're at the track, come say hi to us, even though we're kind of snooty sometimes.
Sounds good. Well, you know, hopefully we'll see each other at the track soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. See you, buddy.
Take care. Bye-bye.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, time did get away from us a little bit.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah. Let's see where Sparky says he said he thinks Jack's been hanging out in that special club.
Something to do with the package.
I know. I wonder.
The package must have had an invitation in it.
I know. I wish somebody would fess up to this package.
And he said they must sell it like a drink pack.
He said he's seen Jack twice, but he's seen Clay 1,000 times. Oh, I bet you have.
It's only been 2 days.
Clay is social.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was great. The Jack couldn't even get on. He tried. He tried.
He tried his hardest. He really tried.
He got the spinning wheel of death.
Yeah. He may be back next week. We don't know.
Yeah,
Tune in to
we'll
find
see.
out.
We'll see if it's back. Jack Dodson'S racing Saturday.
It might be next week. It might not be either.
If you don't make it back, we'll just keep going.
We're just going to keep it rolling.
Hey, guys. See you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.